Welcome out, gamers and gamettes, to this RGL.GG Invite Highlander cast. We are starting off season 23 here on PL Upward, coming at you with DZCreatures against Locked In Syndrome. I am Alto, joined by Zag to my side, Dolphin behind the camera, as always. Zag, how you doing tonight?
Doing just fine. Ready for new Highlander season. I was just looking through the teams and the map list to get a feel for it. A good map list this season, honestly. A lot of favorites. Proot's coming back, but we do have Upward for this week one. Old Classic returning, and in this matchup tonight, these are two teams which we have pegged as like pretty middle of the table, maybe competing for a playoff bubble spot. Come towards the end of it, so could be an important match off the bat for that.
Yeah, I think when we take a look at the invite table, have some pretty familiar team names, I would say. Although going to be a lot of mix up in the roster. You've got Dumb Kids, winners of last season, coming back, and Witness Gaming, kind of looking like your clear 1-2. You've got what we're considering right now to be Rib against Penguin Logistics as kind of a 3-4. They're also playing tonight, so another match to keep an eye on. Then I think my read on it is you're probably looking at the Redacted as a potential last place team, with everyone else being a little bit harder to get a read on, at least from our perspective. So kind of what we're going to be looking for tonight, get an idea of how these two teams play coming into the season. With that said, let's jump right into rosters so we know who we're dealing with. On the side of Locked In Syndrome, it will be Snowy on Scout, Space Ghost's Coffee, coming back from quite a long time not playing on Soldier of all classes, Cham on Pyro, Lucky on Demoman, Sweege on Heavy, Panther on Engineer, Ray on Medic, Arb on Sniper, and Pajaro, the artist formerly known as Spoo, on Spy.
I'm gonna have to ask you, but if you knew how to pronounce Swede, or if that's just your
I
best
did.
guess.
I specifically asked what the pronunciation was, and I was told it was with the J.
All right. Well, that's the heavy for Locked In Syndrome. But on the other side of DZCreatures is going to be JPEG on Scout, Dinko on Soldier, TK on Pyro, Scary Broccoli on Demoman, Lizard on Heavy, the titular DZ Creeper on Engineer, Iku on Medic, Wazari on Sniper, and Lemon on Spy.
Yep, and I mean, taking a look at these rosters, some pretty established names, right? You've got Snowy on Scout, who's now been around. I'd say Snowy's been around Invite long enough now that they're no longer a newcomer. They've played 3 or 4 seasons at this point. Had some good performances. Space Ghost, obviously a veteran, coming back on an off class. Cham, been around for quite a few seasons now as well. Lucky on Demoman's going to be a bit of a first time. And, when I look at the rosters here, right? When I look at the names on Locked In Syndrome, my mind tells me that, oh, they have so many more people I recognize. They're probably going to be the better team. Then I look at what classes they're playing, and I kind of have to recalculate that a little bit.
Yeah, that said, you have a very solid support core, right? Arbiter, Pajaro, tons of it, like invite experience at this point, right? Where like those three probably can just be enough to swing the middle of the table matchups if they're having their own nights,
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, then you look on the side of DZCreatures, and definitely names we know. I haven't seen TK play for a while. I'm glad to see him coming back.
Oh,
but
I remember that name, huh?
yeah, JPEG, Dinko, Scary Broccoli, Lizard. Those are all some of the relatively newer players that have been, I'd say, trying to make the jump from like low invite into more established, in my eyes. As well as Wazari, who been well known as a pretty dominant sniper in some of the lower divs for quite some time. I'm not sure if this is his first season in invite or not. And then Lemon as well, who I'm unfamiliar with. But on the flip side, right? I mean, when I see space, I see our Pajaro Ray on the other team, and I'm thinking this looks solid. And Lucky, Demo, Space Ghost, Soldier are untested in my eyes. If they were on main classes potentially, then you're suddenly looking like a much more scary roster right now. But they could show up big on these classes. We just don't know.
Yeah, I mean the biggest question mark, honestly, for how this team's ceiling in my mind is definitely the Lucky Demo Man. Demoman's such a centralized class in Highlander where, like, if your Demoman isn't able to kind of keep up with their performance of the rest of the team, the entire team suffers as a result. So we'll see if Lucky can, kind of slide into the season, improve on the class, and then become very, like, a stalwart member towards the end, because it's hard. Like, swapping to Highlander Demoman off of other classes is definitely not the easiest transition to make. Everything wants to kill you. We've seen even the most experienced Demomen get caught on countless respawn timers just because they're not used to being such a heavy target focus. So we'll see how that one goes.
You mentioned the Demo not being able to keep up with the rest of the team, but if Lucky plays Demo anything like he did Engineer, it's going to be the rest of the team that's going to be challenged to keep up with him, because we do not have to worry about him baiting on Demo Man. That is for certain. It's going to be the opposite consideration here, maybe being too aggressive, taking too many of those deaths. And then, whether or not you're going to be able to see some of the classes around him, like Ray, like Sweej, like Snowy, and I mean, really even a Pajaro or a Space Ghost to be able to play up with that and match that tempo, or Lucky's going to have to learn how to temper that aggression that we saw be so successful in Engineer last season, really. And if he can change that, versus I think DZ to me is a team that may not have necessarily as high of a ceiling just off of the names alone, but you're looking everyone on their main classes. This is a team of people that are looking to prove themselves. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be saying, okay, if we can make playoffs, that's going to be a really good step for us. We're going to kind of lock ourselves in, start to get a little bit more established in Invite, and that hunger is something that can often catch these off-classing teams by surprise.
Yeah, and with that said, we're about to get right into it here. Week 1, Match 1 on Peel Upward, starting off here with DZCreatures versus Locked In Syndrome. It's going to be DZ on defense here, LIS starting on blue. We'll see what they can do on the offense. And honestly, we talked about the rosters in the pregame, mostly about DZCreatures. Locked In Syndrome has a certain, vice versa. We talk mostly about Locked In Syndrome. DZCreatures to me is a team that I see the names on. I think there's a lot of players who I would have called up-and-comers a couple seasons ago, right? And at this point, I'm still not sure what to really make of them, because players like Lizard, I actually have a pretty high opinion of for those challenges where they give you a budget and you have to make a roster, make a list or something.
Yeah.
With that, I feel like DZCreatures has a lot of players who I'd put very high on low value, high effectiveness standings. So whether or not they can put it all together and become more than the sum of their parts is yet to be seen. But they're a team I can kind of see making a bit of a run. We'll see how they can do on defense
the
here
type
as the
of
gates
player
drop.
that if you fifth picked in a pug, you'd be like, that's a value pick right there.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. But yeah, it is going to be Locked In Syndrome starting on offense, DZ on red. DZ will have the benefit of that first defense. Upward first being a point that over the past couple of seasons I think we've seen be a little bit more solid of a hold. As Chan gonna go in, gets taken out, Churms bombing into flank, not gonna find anything. Arb and SGC down as well. The first sack has been successfully defended again.
Yeah, and Pajaro's never gonna get snapped on that, got his knife melted, so just going for the teleporter now. Home Wrecker from TK makes it impossible, actually. That's more effective at breaking it than the Engineer's Wrench. So with that, they actually can't get the teleporter. Pyro has not done much yet in the round. We'll see if he can join up with the team for the Uber exchange coming through. As pushing up over the hill is Churms with his medic in tow. They're going to pop that Uber right into the sentry gun.
Yep, they should likely get it. No, DZ's going to save it on a fraction of health. So nothing gained in that Uber other than the red team popping, so they're just cycling the Uber. Lemon is in an aggressive spot. Surprised he hasn't been checked yet.
A decloak on Ginkgo, and that's going to deny the banner. So even he is going to start with safety, so that's a pretty decent pick. No banner for the defense rolling up. With Churms getting sniped, they will have to soft reset a bit, get their players back. Long spawn timer for Ginkgo, but that teleporter did get kept up. So now we look to Wazari here, who's standing on the playground with a buff with the Cozy Camper, looking to shut down this offense. Whenever your team doesn't have Uber, the sniper is the biggest threat by far pushing up with her. So let's see what they have planned to deal with it, Locked In Syndrome. Pyro looking to go for a decloak on the telly. Pyro kind of spot checking around. He's going to go for the decloak, looking around, looking for the medic. Can't quite get it, and SGC will not be successful in getting it either. So that's going to just be a bit of a stall right now for Locked In Syndrome.
Yeah, and I mean, really, LIS finding trouble getting any kill. They say that Arb going to find one onto Lizard that defensive heavy going down means there's a lot of open ground now up on Playground. They've yet to capitalize it, but again, that telly is not up, actually. They must have gotten the entrance at some point, so it's going to be a long time before Lizard gets back. Pyro poking in up top on Playground already. So imagine you get some more classes pressuring that shortly.
Here's a really good decloak from Pyro. He's looking for the sniper or someone, whoever steps up here. Gonna just run down instead, looking for the medic. Stuck in the corner and forces the Uber, but it does get forced anyway thanks to the offensive Uber popping in. Only one death. It's the Spy coming in that exchange, so we'll see how the post shakes out. Terms is going to die, though, getting flamed down by TK, of all things, and that's a dead Demoman for the offense. It's so hard to dislodge Sentry Gun. This Arbiter pops a 150 into it. It will finally go down. Swede stabbed. Lemon traded out in the meantime. That's a pretty good one, taking down that big heavy, and now Lizard back up on top, denies SGC, going to have to back up. Space Ghost is, he's going to get taken down, and so is Pyro. So just like that, they don't have any space to work with locked in Syndrome.
And what's good to see at a DZ is that, you know, one of the main reasons this point has gone so long is because teams have learned to play around their sniper. Wazari's, you know, gotten 3 kills, but has not. Normally you'd see 2 minutes off the clock on Upward First, and you'd assume at least 8, 9 kills on the sniper, make it 4 now. But Wazari has not been as dominant because the rest of the team is just playing aggressively, doing a really good job denying space. And that DZ's really, or Locked Into is really struggling to find any open. And that's a solid look from DZ.
So they have Uber right now, Locked In Syndrome, but they kept bleeding players. They had 6 alive a second ago. They still have 7 alive. They now have 7 alive again. The term's going down. So just wasting time here. They will at least catch Lemon out, but now sitting on the full Uber, burning time. And yeah, it's not the hottest start for LIS right now at all. Space Ghost is going to go into DH to try and deal with that Sentry Gun, so we'll see if that helps out at all. But they really have just not gotten enough kills to even get the cart around this bend.
Good, I mean, Ray stayed alive. There's another Uber here that they're going to use right now, which is getting enough to make it stick. If they just cycle the Ubers, they're not going to get anything. And it's looking like they've got the DH isn't even getting in a position to aim. Counter espionage from Lemon onto Pyro.
Back towards the spawn.
This is looking rough right now.
Yeah, they didn't get a single kill in that exchange or post, so still waiting on it. I did hear a banner popped out just now, coming out for Dinko, first one of the game, but it's a well-timed one as Broccoli going to look to run forward with that, pop some damage onto the combo, forcing them off the top of this hill. And Ray is building pretty well on the re-entry, so already at 50%, 20% add over EQ, so this could be their best chance in quite a while. They are going to finally get some pressure forward. Broccoli will go down, but Terms is trading in the meantime still. That's a pretty good one, especially DZCreatures and the Centric going down. This is going to be the first cap final.
Yeah, I mean, it takes quite a while, but eventually it is enough. The Steeds that are just left on the ground going to find Scary Broccoli, and with the demo going down,
he's in with the DH. It's really hard to land the splash on the medic like that, so gonna try to get out. Air blasted and pit death. First pit death of the season goes to Space Ghost.
Lee coming in just like he left off, Nom. I don't think he had too many pit deaths on Sniper before, but TK gonna jump up into the window, do some scout. Passive hold right now. You got such a good first hold. You're, you know, if you just got the time it takes to push the cart up, and you're pretty happy on second right now, you're going to be looking at probably close to a 6-minute time, even if they don't defend this. But they managed to reclaim the passive hold. Uber popped out right now. Both teams using multiple flashes on both sides.
Good air blast coming out of Terms. Broccoli's stuck in the back line, but he will escape to safety. That might be come back later. In the meantime, look at Swede jumping in there, taking down TK and DZCreatures. And that's a lot of cleanup coming through from this front side. Scout and Demoman left on behind. Here comes Broccoli, flanked, seeing if he can pay off. He gets a good kill onto Snowy there, and there's Broccoli still trying to do some work, but taken down 5k for Swede, and that's a heavy push right there. Capping second. They really needed that to go as fast as possible. Still 6 minutes, but that was the bare minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the bare minimum. So good to see some momentum right now. If they're able to actually pull off a third snowball, it will go a long way to improving my estimation of the team. DZ gonna face check the drop down, gets caught out by the trap. The rest of trying to realize they need to go around, and Pyro big pick onto Wazari. They're going to lose 3 for it though, including Terms and Sweet.
Heavy Demo just went down for Locked In Syndrome. You really can't hold this at all anymore. Space Ghost is trying his best to spam into Bucket, but needs an arrow to continue. Cham almost overextending, barely making it out. Arbiter with a serve, barely makes it out on 1 HP. Dinko denied, so they're going to keep a couple nice players alive. In the meantime, their spawners will be in soon. Arbiter going to get healed up and run onto that cart. There's a big play opportunity here for Lemon. Might be able to get a chain step on the cart with the help of the team walking to distract, but doesn't like it. Can they even get out here? They are stuck in their drop down. Now going to pop their Uber early, but the Pyro's in place.
Yep, yeah, Echo just needs to leave right now. The cart has already cleared the hill. Wazari's going to find two. Another from Lizard, but it's not going to be enough. They don't have the bodies. They don't have the presence to deny this cap. It will go through as SPC coming in. Going to give a rocket for Scary Bark to surf out on. A bonus kill for Wazari onto Panther, but they're going to sound the backup, and Brocky getting some sticks down in lower. Could be Pyro might have called. I think I saw one
Arbiter
shot
down
off.
there
Yeah.
of all people, so they know Arbiter's underground trying to get a snipe going through the rest of the combo. They're going to try to walk up towards backstairs, but there's already a red team combo up top, or a heavy soldier at least, and they got to be careful. They might get caught out. They will get Swede actually, and just walk forward onto it. Going to get Space Ghost. This is a great two-man cell by these classes, combo classes from DZCreatures. We'll see what havoc they can wreak in the lunchbox, flanking the offense.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Heavy playing upper still is a new tech or something exclusive to DZCreatures, but they're making it work. Big plays coming out of Lizard, denying that forward pressure. Arb does have the angle on backstairs, however. Gonna be sniping out the sentry gun. Both teams are just content with the other have the space, but Lemon, finding Ray, going to get them with 97%. Really big stab right at the bottom of backstairs, and the rest of the players on blue just gonna crumble one after another here.
Yeah, silver lining, they do get the cart pretty decently into last. You would have loved for your medic to live and everyone else to die there, but unfortunately they did lose that Uber charge, so now it's gonna have to slow charge from the start. I do like what DZCreatures are doing here. A couple of their players are looking to walk more aggressively, mostly flank classes. In the meantime, level 3 sentry gun is built up on last. I see Wazari going into the stairwell. Dispenser block is up, so gonna be very hard to take that sniper down anyway, but SVS. How is Ray?
JPEG finds Ray again. Where even? That's gotta be lower.
Ran up backstairs. Yeah, ran up backstairs and just undefended medic.
I mean, it was a very,
someone's got to be watching that. You can't leave that open.
Yeah, but they are going to, they're trying to work Art backstairs, getting the angle once again, peeking up. SGC's gonna find Lemon this time, so no backstabs to worry about. Ray, though, only at 30%. Eku's been sitting on this Uber for quite some time. Very happy to just stay at that 100% in spawn. Rosario, though, gets the SVS onto Arb. That's going to send it back out. Backstairs now has nothing to offer anyone. They're just going to slide back out, cycle out, wait for the sniper to come up, and try it again.
Yeah, I think I saw Paharo had an enforcer. I can't really check right now, but I think he was trying to decloak and shoot that gun. It'd be very useful if he could when the time came to do it. Arbiter eats a backstab, so that's a lot of pressure gone. And the Uber came out for the defense, trying to go into lower, see what they could find, but did not find Ray is the important thing. And now full Uber charge advantage for Locked In Syndrome. They will also get a sniper pick, so this should be a really good push for them.
Gun down, full ad. I'm not quite sure what they were trying to get out of that Uber, but it's given Locked In Syndrome a very big leg back into this match. Lemon's gonna find Swede on cart. The collapse coming in. Terms force back out through main, giving up a lot of pressure. Arb's gonna get flare crit by TK. Gonna take Cham out as well. So no sniper means everyone can play wide. Wazari gets balled, but otherwise has the run of the angles right now, and it looks like they've stalled that push for now.
Yeah, but it looks like Locked In Syndrome want to keep applying pressure here. They get Broccoli, trade SGC for it, and the good step into Dinko is going to make it so defense only has 5 alive. Sentry gun going to get rebuilt here. It's only level 2, trying to take some damage, and NG gets the cart very quickly. Uber forced out with the defense. They have to drop down and stop that push. Ray out with 65%, and no other kills can really come down for the side of DZCreatures here. So stuck on the back. Cham will get cleaned up by a revolver courtesy of Lemon. It will be them just trying to reset softly. Ray on 90%. They're just going to wait for this Uber charge.
Lizard in lower could be a really big play. He's going to get scouted out by Snowy. They'll get taken out. No heavy on the defense. Could be big as the Uber popped out through main. SGC shot down, so no one to jump top left. Swedes jumping out of upper. Going to be forced back as well. That gun staying alive. Doing a lot of zoning. Terms now just getting it. Going to try to start to spam it. But the numbers are dropping already. Armin Paharo dead. Panther dead. JPEG's going to go down, but the SGC jump.
Yeah. finally got there to go top left and kill DZ Creeper and Iku. That's NG and Medic. That's pretty much everything but the combat classes trying to go in and just make a last second stand on the cart. Still have a heavy, still have a Demoman up top, raining down some spam, but it's really just those two and an invisible spy. Gonna just be getting taken down. Lizard has to go all the way down. Lemon looking for a stab, gonna get one, and JPEG gets to the cart, and the cart rolls back. Broccoli stayed alive that entire time and launched one sticky that killed the demo. As you see in terms of back in, taking down some spawners, it should be too overwhelming.
Pyro coming in! It's not enough!
Yeah,
I was gonna say, there was enough action, but that time was getting pretty long, and 12 minutes is something you're gonna be very happy about if you're DZCreatures right here.
Yeah, solid start for DZCreatures. They played first very well. Second didn't go the best for them, but that was probably Locked In Syndrome's best. I want to say like even push where both teams had Uber. Third, they kind of just kept bleeding players, and then last was pretty good. So yeah, you'll take that if you're Locked In Syndrome. 12 minutes is plenty of time to get the round on the board, go up 1-0 in this match. So we'll see if they can let it happen. In the meantime, Locked In Syndrome has a tough task ahead of them. They're going to need to all lock in for this defense.
Yep, pun on the name, very clever. Oh, and look at Arb getting up top. He knows the jump spot.
Oh yeah, that.
So
begins in 30 seconds.
always a bit of a wait a second. The sniper shot me from where? Anytime you see that? I think that's in Arb's usual book of tricks. So if people that play against him a lot should be expecting it, you would hope. But yeah, again, 12 minutes is a very, very solid defense, even as times have gotten a little bit longer on Upward over the past few seasons. So quite a lot of time right now for DZ to work with, but first is always a trouble for teams. You know, if they can get that early sniper kill going, get playground pressure, they're going to be in a good spot.
Arb abandons his post on high ground, goes to tracks for a spawn shot. Not going to hit off the bat. Really fast power from Lemon.
DH? Off Dinko?
Creative, tried to shoot the gun, couldn't quite fit the rockets around. Lemon is going to go back to spawn for the teleporter, it looks like. So no sack coming in, looks like just some spam, telekill, and just wait for it to wait for the exchange to go off. They are pushing their medic already through track, so fast exchange coming.
Yep, and Lemon has already gotten the telly, so that has gone down, but Eureka effect on Pampa means it may get rebuilt eventually. The Uber cycle, they're not going to find any real kills. SGC taking out the mini Dinko shot out of the air on that parachute. Trying to hit DH shots. Lemon now coming back in from spawn, but Terms and Cham both going to go down. That demo dead is a lot of pressure, and SGC not able to escape either. No banner, no soldier, no explosive classes. Pyro equalizing onto Lizard, Scary Barking dead as well.
Yeah, doubling up onto Lizard Broccoli. They really needed those kills to help stabilize, and they want to stay, but they're conflicted. They lose Swede, and I can't really justify staying anymore. It's just the sentry gun, but here comes the spy putting the sapper on it and getting the sniper. Any spam will get the gun killed, and they're going to try. They don't get in time, but Ray has to leave. There's no one to defend them, and they will get out, and that's a very fast push for DZCreatures on first.
Yeah, really, really good to see them come out and take that early. I love the pressure. You lose your demo, you lose your heavy, but you've got DZ, you've got JPEG continuing to put on the pressure. Lemon went in for a sap the first. Didn't get the gun, but stayed alive, cycled back, did it again, gets the sniper next time, and that's going to be the nail in the coffin. Lots of hill pressure. Wazari taking out Arb right off the bat.
Ray's wide out, has to pop the Uber in, can't save Cham. It's just going to be a scout demo here, trying to back out with it, counter Uber out for DZCreatures and co. TK jumping around the corner, but Sentry Gun going to force him back. It is going to be only 6 alive for Locked In Syndrome right now, and with the numbers advantage, they want to get aggressive here, DZCreatures. Dinko, big bomb onto the Sentry Gun will help sink it down and get the kill into Churms with the help of Broccoli. So with that should be enough kills and pressure to just net second for DZCreatures here.
Yep, they're backing out right now. They don't even have, I don't think, the sniper to play on bridge right now. Arb's just playing back on third, looking at the choke, making sure no one gets too far aggressive. You know, really, it's the third and fourth point on Upward that are really the kind of meat and potatoes of the holds. Now, you know, you're not happy to give up these points in about 2.5 minutes, because I think that's what you're looking at. But you know that 9.5 minutes on third and last, while difficult, is entirely possible.
Yep, we'll see if they're up to the task. In the meantime, it is going to be 100% for both meds. They're perfectly even. Cart not getting pushed right now. A bit of a blunder from DZCreatures. You want to keep that going as fast as you can all the way to that vent. Now they just have to wait. They can't actually pop their Uber until that cart's a bit closer.
Arb taking out Dingo, but was already taking out Arb. No sniper now again Means they're going to have so much room to get aggressive. Lemon goes down, so no spy to worry about. But Uber popped out right now. Swede taking some damage in buckets. Space Ghost forced to jump out. Lizard will go down. Broccoli blasted off the cliff. The air blasts going from Cham going to put a stop on that hold. The card pressure continuing. They're just at the base of the second ramp. But overall, you're pretty happy about that if you're locked in Syndrome. Maybe some stabilizing on third.
Yeah, cart rolls back off that second ramp. They can't quite get it all the way up, so DZCreatures is going to have to reset for now. Creeper going to go down in the meantime. He's going to be JPEG trying to get that up, but Arbiter is going to snipe him down. So a bit stalled right now. Our DZCreatures is going to have to just charge this Uber, get their players back and buff them up. In the meantime, Banner coming out of Space Ghost. He is holding it in time, so going to pop it out. The rest is going to look forward on the hill. I really like this play out of Locked in Syndrome a lot. They're going to get Lizard at the cost of Space Ghost, but if they can push forward and get some more space, it is worth it.
Yeah, they just need to buy time right now, and that means buying space as well. Making sure that those Ubers are going to be popped from a worse position. That said, though, they don't really manage to maintain anything. Losing Pyro as well, I think, makes them a little bit too hesitant to play forward without any eyes. Snowing aggro into shit. Oh, that's excuse me, on the defense. Uber gonna be popped out. Actually, no Pyro's involved at all. Scary Broccoli just walks right into bucket, but there's no pressure. They're gonna get the card up the second ramp. DZ will get taken out. The JPEG gets the kill onto Snowy.
Yeah, look at Broccoli trying to do a lot of damage on the corner with the help of Lizard. They will get the kill with the Churn. Snowy Swede's just going to go down as well. JPEG gets stabbed off the cart though, so even though the defense didn't lost too many players, the fact that Pyro got that stop in the cart is going to buy some time. The question is, do they want to commit back out or risk 7 minutes on last? I don't think they have a choice. It's going to have to be a 7-minute last hold.
Now look, they might have had enough cart pressure, but they secure the cart at the expense of losing the point. So that will be the third catch coming in. 7 minutes for last. Not a great position to find yourself in. Muzari all the way up top already. Completely alone. No support other than Lizard just now. Getting up Spiral, but gonna rotate around and back up with the team before going back up. Tried to get a bit of a cheeky shot. Space Ghost playing boxes. Gonna be forced to put out a lot of pressure here. Make sure that sniper doesn't get too aggressive.
Yeah, he's jiggle peeking. If he eats a 150 body shot, you gotta imagine he's gonna jump out of there. Let's say he's on a banner, so the rocket jump will do a bunch of damage to him. He needs to make sure not to die here, because if he dies, it's going to be very bad for this defensive posturing. Uber going to come out in the meantime, though. DZCreatures trying to go lower and see if they can kill the players up top. Gun gets pulled in the meantime, so they are going to keep it up for now. But look at that, because there's no gun, the cart going to roll all the way up to the final ramp. You got to be careful if you're locked in Syndrome here. You can't let that go too unchecked, but because of that, now they're panicked. They have to jump out, and they're just getting killed left and right. They're just going to lose like that.
Yeah, just straight aggression. We saw something really similar on first coming out of DZCreatures. They're going to push in just about 6 minutes right there. So really, really dominant offense.
Yeah, I need to watch that last again to kind of make sense of it, because I saw bits and pieces. It felt like, so the sentry gun got pulled, I'm pretty sure, when the Uber came in. In theory, you're thinking, oh, if I pull the sentry gun, then they can't kill it. I can replace it. But if you pull the sentry gun, then all of a sudden nothing's shooting and all the players spreading out on last. It felt like with the Uber, okay, what it was is the big thing you want to look at with the difference between the two teams on last there is Uber usage and how they position players during it. When DZCreatures popped Uber at the end there, I felt like I saw 8 players all flooding into last. And even if you're on low ground, the fact that you have so many players in so many different positions means that the defense can't actually target focus you. Meanwhile, you're all stuck in upper. So when the Demoman walks forward and throws 8 stickies at your upper spawn shutter, you can't actually peek. You have to wait for him to run out of damage, and then you can try to walk out. But by that time happens, you can't actually get space on last. The offense took all this space. So that's why you saw Locked in Syndrome get super panicked. Like, oh god, they're pushing the car. We gotta get out there, guys. And they just run one by one to their deaths because they don't have a choice at that point.
Yep, and I mean, it just goes to show DZ had just that relentless offense that entire time. I mean, really, it started on first. The demo heavy go down. They don't back up. They say, nah, card's close enough. We've got enough numbers. Keep pushing it. You know, our scout and engineer on payload offense are still combat classes. They can take space. They can get pressure. They do that. Get first quickly and starts off the snowball that just takes them all the way into last. So we do have logs up. I want to take a look at that. one of the things I think is interesting is that, I mean, Arb's out fragging Wazari right now. You know, so this is not a sniper diff, right? This is largely an everything else diff.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I want to look at is the main question we had coming into the game. Lucky right now is getting heavily outperformed by Broccoli. It's not even close right now. He's struggling to put out 300 DPM. Meanwhile, Broccoli's up there at 470, taking the Ubers, doing tons of damage. When I saw Broccoli on that last push walk forward the Uber, I really did just see him launch 8 stickies upper and basically zone the entire enemy team back into their spawn. Which is very notable when it happens. Even if he doesn't get the kills, all that space happening is because the Demoman knows what to do with his space.
And maybe something that's a little bit kind of taken for granted, but there was a really good use of card pressure from DZCreatures as well. I mean, even on first, right, with that gun still being up, they got cart far enough. JPEG actually just used the cart as a shield to cap while the gun was still alive, but you get cart that far forward, it puts pressure on the opposing team. They kept pressure up through second, didn't have to worry about it, you know, being disconnected, and then on third, they're able to bait people aggressive, you know, to get aggressive on the defense and die in order to contest the card pushers. And then once you lose your with that scout, that spy, that soldier that might go in for card, suddenly you don't have to worry about flankers, people shooting you from odd angles. You can just walk forward, shoot everyone in front of you. Cart gets pushed up, and then, like you said in last, right? All that space bought by Broccoli let the cart get pushed up, put so much pressure on the defense of, oh, we got to go run out one by one to our deaths, because if we don't, they're just going to cap.
Yeah. I just, like, obviously the individual play was better from the key members of DZCreatures in that moment. But one thing I've just noticed from Locked In Syndrome is they really do look like a team that recently came together and, like, still is figuring out, like, comms issues and, like, who's calling for what and, like, who should be standing where. Because something that I did notice is when they were pushing third, at a certain point, I watched Ray have to arrow both Space Ghost and Pajaro. If your medic has to arrow your soldier and your spy in rapid succession mid-push, something is wrong. Like, those heals need to be pumped into the players who are taking the frontline fights. So, there are probably some unfamiliarity with people like Space Ghost who are still probably, like, getting used to Highlander Soldier. But, like, you can't be standing on your medic asking for an arrow mid-push. It's just not a thing.
Something else that I'm thinking of, I mean, I don't, you know, this match is far from over, but after seeing that performance, you can't help but think that DZ is probably favored to win this second half. Something that I want to go back to that very first hole that they had, which went, you know, about 5 minutes, where the fact that they managed to hold that so well, and this wasn't, you know, a very frantic hold, right, where they're losing people and then getting these crazy repushes. No, they had that on lock for 4 minutes, right? Wazari was getting kills, but was not going on an insane kill streak, right? Any team really that's an invite, I'd think, if your sniper goes on a heater, should be able to hold upward first for 3 to 4 minutes. But this isn't a Wazari 15 streak. This was Wazari getting 5 or 6. But the fact that the rest of the team is able to deny all of that space, play together, and make sure that, you know, they're not giving things up on a point that without a nuclear sniper is still holdable, but a team, you know, you can brute force it, as we saw DZCreatures doing their own offense. It gives me really good hopes for the fundamentals of this team when they play against teams that are likely going to be expected to be seated above them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. I was pleasantly surprised with the cohesiveness of DZCreatures in that half. I do want to kind of zero in on Locked In Syndrome here, because if we're thinking about, like, you know, what is to change in the next half, I would agree with you. DZCreatures are heavily favored to take this 2-0 based on what I saw. If you're Locked In Syndrome here and you're thinking, how can we get back into this game? I really think you need to look in at your veterans on class, specifically Arbiter. I think if Locked In Syndrome wants any hope of winning this, first of all, they're starting on defense this time, which I like for them. I think Arbiter needs to get very aggressive with his SVS so that he can get opportunities to just peek and kill the entire enemy team. Upward's a map where a dominant defensive sniper can just win you the game outright. If Arbiter's confident that, you know, with good comms and buffs constantly, he can take the SVS, win it, and then stop the pushes by himself, then that's what you gotta do. Because right now, Locked In Storm's kind of getting bowled over in neutral, where, like, exchange will happen, and then Broccoli will just win it out over time in post with better damage over Lucky, and then they're getting pushed back. I don't think Locked In Syndrome had a single push on their defense last half where they didn't get one pushed. I think they got one pushed every time when there was an Uber in their face.
There might have been 2 Ubers on third, but agreed. They never really had a solid hold.
Yeah, and it's because they're losing in like the neutral and post. Like the combo isn't positioning, they're not getting the damage out, their players aren't spacing out wide enough to actually win the post. So I really think they just have to zero in on players like Arbiter making big plays. I think that's their best shot.
Yeah, I mean, Pyro as well really didn't didn't have a bad half by...
Yeah, it was alright. Didn't wow, didn't, it was average.
Would hope to see more from someone as experienced.
I mean, as every Spy player will tell you, including me, Spy gets increasingly harder the less your team is doing.
What do you mean? There's always 9 people up. That should be more people to stab.
Yeah, but we are just waiting for some players to get a reconnect, I believe. Maybe we're changing servers. Dolphin, we can get confirmation on that at some point. But we are looking to get all the players onto a server with good ping. I see Wazari's at like 140 ping, so I might be trying to swap up. Yeah, new server, so we're going to be connecting to that one real quick.
Yeah, I think I saw some issues with Wazari potentially having connection issues, so... might be the issue as we hop over.
It's still early in the season. Obviously, it's week 1, so we don't have like a read on every team. Like how they perform, what maps they prefer, what their strengths and weaknesses are. But just throwing my like super experienced, I've seen too much of this game mode be played take. To me, based on one half of Upward, DZCreatures looks like a solid 4th place team, whereas Locked In Syndrome looked like a 6th place team that like gets rounds off of the 4th place team, It's just the thing where like I see Locked In Syndrome on when their Upward offense was like they have the potential to make a play and like snowball through, but I really see a lack of consistent win conditions based on what they did. Because like first was ugly, to put it lightly. First was like the ugliest part of that map for them. And Upward first is the kind of point on offense where you need to have multiple players actually doing things to win. And that sounds like, oh, well, of course, it's a video game. It's a team game. But the reality is that not all classes in Highlander are created equal. And one of them happens to be Sniper. That is a very not equal class. So when you're pushing on Upward first, and the enemy Sniper is worth 3 of your players, it's just so hard to play the game. Like, your Engineer, your Scout, your Spy, everyone has to be contributing something. Your Soldier, like... As much as I like the DHL from Space Ghost, the reality is it really didn't do much. Like, there's better plays to be made from everybody on the team, to the point where, like, it doesn't feel like they're a team that's ready to actually like, compete for a bubble spot yet. So, I mean, obviously, week 1, we might see them improve over the course of the season. It is always going to start out slower for teams coming together, rather than teams that are more established. So, I mean, we'll see if they can ramp it up in the second half, because that's the first step.
You know what I want to flash back to in that first push? I didn't talk on, but I just kind of remembered happened.
What?
They found, LIS found a kill on to Lizard on Playground, and I don't think it cost them any. And the telly was down. So the red heavy is out of the fight here for probably 40 to 45 seconds, right? I saw no pressure coming onto Playground whatsoever. And I think there was an Uber that might have come out at some point, and it kind of distracted me from that train of thought. But I was very disappointed in that, right? Because if you get a free pick onto that heavy, the Playground is so much easier to push. You should be overloading that and putting so much pressure on people, getting the dispenser down, getting stuff onto the gun. SGC killed a Sentry and a Telly already. Interesting rockets. But just that spoke to like a very big mismatch in what players are doing. As double parachute sacks coming in, both shot out of the air.
Yeah, headshot onto that parachute trooper, not even going to get to touch the ground. So solid denial from Locked In Syndrome here. They are starting on defense, like I mentioned, and they really do need a good one here. Sapper or Teleporter does go down here for the side of Locked In Syndrome, so anyone who dies is going to have to take the long walk all the way back. Sticky's still up here on the pillars. We'll see if this can catch anything, as Uber about to come out from DZCreatures here through tracks.
Yep, popped out. Really just going to go for the cycle, not even looking to spam gun. Entirely happy. DZ is just getting the Uber out of red. SPC playing close, taking a little bit of damage of getting that banner closer and closer. Cham running in, gonna find the W1 onto Eku. Charms gonna help complete the collapse onto the combo. The aggression from Cham came out of nowhere, finds Eku, gives ad over to Ray, and suddenly LIF locking in. I mean, completely different team than what we saw in the first half on defense.
Yeah, I mean, solid start. They heard me talk about how everyone needs to do things and everyone trying to get in on it. Here comes a stab sap, spiking out 2. Lemon hits a double stab, a sap into a guitar taunt cancel. That was crazy. And just like that, the offense is flooding in. So all the goodwill out of Locked In Syndrome's team gets overridden by one fancy spy.
Yeah, Panther's gonna see himself in the fragment at the end of the season after that, I can tell you that much. As it ends up, yeah, with Ray getting sniped out immediately after, Wazari picks off FGSPC. So no bomb coming in as they push over Hill. Pyro in the backline, gonna be getting calm, but not really in a position to impact much with how free this Hill control is. Not even a gun setup on the passive hold either. Panther's still building it in spawn. This is the bottom of the window, but I think they're just happy to get the cart pressure. SPC spawn back up. Coming around, landing, gonna force the Uber out. Both snipers dead. Dinko dropping in, finds the pick onto Ray. The rest of the kills coming down in sequence. A couple for LIS, but DZ taking the lion's share of him. Only Sweej and Pajaro alive. Pajaro isn't able to get anything done on Hill, just goes back into the telly camps Wazari.
Broccoli's hit him with the noobs down in chat. I mean, if anything, this performance from DZCreatures is them trying to make a statement that they are not a, bubble team. They're trying to say that they're a playoff team. Even though it's only week 1, they definitely want to put the best performance. Good shot by Arbiter onto Broccoli, taking him out of the air. That one might be enough to get some momentum back for LIS. As we mentioned in the first half, 3rd and 4th, you can still get a lot of work done on upwards. So definitely trying to round the corner and flank through Bucket. SGC getting some good spam, but Lizard and Dinko going to stay alive, both at half HP. The rest of the combo will peace out for now, and they will get some arrows onto those players. Bucket control still held by DZCreatures, and now their players are back. Eco has the Uber, and they're going to pop it.
Yep, coming in.
Look at Lemon.
Air blast, knock some people back,
Oh,
but
block, can't get the stab.
yeah, they're picking up players, but they don't have the presence. It's gonna be enough that they are gonna be forced back. Cart presence only gonna go down as Arb gets the shot onto JPEG. No one on cart, slowly getting picked off. There's seeing hopefully some stabilization from LIS right now as they fight back for the space on 3rd. Gun brought in by Panther. They're holding it for now. Cart's up the 2nd ramp right now, but nothing working for DZCreatures.
Yeah, and full Uber for Ray here. That should mean some kind of like a card sack or forward pressure coming from the DZCreatures. They do have Lemon on a nice bucket spot, but I don't think anyone's going to walk out unless Sweet wants to take a gander. Will go with the help of a soldier? No, they're just going to... maybe Space Ghost. Gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. He will not dare peek it. No, here he comes. Uber saved the heavy. Really good Uber. To save the heavy, actually.
DZ Creeper just soloed card up during that exchange, so they're going to be very happy with that outcome. Wasn't even an exchange. I forgot they didn't even have to use. Coming in right now, Ray getting chased back into last third. Yeah. Going to be capped up on the back of DZ's Engineer. Just sat on cart, didn't peek the sniper, crusted it up the hill. So 4:30 through 3 is probably pretty close to the time we saw from them last.
Yeah, I'd say so, because they did get bowled over on last, so we'll see if they can dig their heels in for a bit longer of a time. If they can get up to like 8.5 minutes, you're thinking it's pretty solid at this point. Obviously, that's a 4-minute hold, you're asking for a lot. At least get to 7, we'll say, be better than last half. Champ gonna peek and be subsequently punished, taken out immediately by Wazari. Gun goes down as well, and I'm feeling the same thing about to happen that happened last round. Granted, look, DZCreatures do need to charge the Uber a bit more, but they already have all of Upper and a Mower to themselves. They're already getting sniper picks. Space Ghost is barely going to get back into spawn, so there's that. But look at Syndrome, they're all grouped up top left. We're just going to see DZCreatures flank out. They're going to get players in multiple angles. They're going to Uber out, and then everyone's going to walk the cart, and they're going to win.
Uber force early to make sure they don't drop Swede. Gonna come out on blue as well. Chan stabbed up in spawn. Lemon got past the dispenser block. But it's going to be Pyro finally getting something onto the board, onto Dinko right there. DZ taken out as well. Cart is close at the ramp. And the pressure still coming in right now.
So good headshot from Arbiter. Getting that Pyro off the cart is huge because now Spam can go on and take anyone down who's there. Blizzard is the big heavy presence, 450. Can you kill him in time? The answer is yes. Iku getting it in with DZ Creeper, tapping it in just at the end, and that's a sub 6-minute push, so it gets worse than last round. And yeah, what can I say? The way I saw DZCreatures fanning out on last, immediately when they popped that Uber, you can just tell when a team is going to win the upward last push. Because the defense is all stuck top left, they have no space to work with. Even if they get spawners, even if they get kills, here and there, they're competing with a teleporter, bringing the offense back in, and the space they already all have. You can't peek upper because there's a sniper there. You can't just run out lower because there's spam coming in from every angle. You can just tell when it's going to happen.
This is just one of those times where you can really tell which team practiced more. Like,
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
I'm still, I mean, I think the lucky demo's been a bit of a disappointment here. But other than that, I'm still not fully convinced that the individual skill on Lockdown Syndrome isn't equal to that on DZ Creeper. It's just the coordination and the ability to play as a team. Everyone knows what they're doing. People aren't getting caught out. People aren't making mistakes. DZ is truly a team, and LIS feels closer to a pug scrim.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to mention when we were in the break, where like LIS feel like a 6th place team right now that just recently got together. Granted, again, first week of the season, a team just came together. You're expecting them to be there to be some rough patches, right? But DZCreatures looks like a team. You're correct. I feel like I can see this team playoffs already. Sack coming in from LIS, trying to find whatever they can. Pyro fighting a sniper, but can't land the shots and will get taken down. So Sack gonna net them nothing, and because he doesn't go behind, that teleporter is gonna stay up.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the calculated call you gotta make, right? You only have 6 minutes. You need something big to happen quickly here. You get 5 minute held on first again, then, your week 1 is over. You gotta get the gun sap, try to get a med drop or some kind of meaningful kill. But Uber's gonna be exchanging coming out right now. Not really too much even Pyro's attempting to deny right now. Again, they're just really happy to cycle these Ubers right now. Then repush in the post.
Yep, trying to get some dry pressure coming over the hill. Lucky shooting some spam, but not much gonna land so far. Space Ghost taking a fight on the flank and gets destroyed by JPEG. Barely doing any damage to the scout. JPEG gonna stick around and just pressure them off the rock a bit. He's doing tons of damage to Swede. He's gonna force some arrows onto that heavy to keep him healthy. And soft reset coming through. Ray has been building pretty well. Another 15-ish, 20% add coming here for LIS. They can just keep some people alive, but spam with the dispenser gonna take out Swede, so more damage getting taken. But there's Arbiter, big SVS win onto Wazari. That should open up some space.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to be feeling the time pressure. You are already almost with your back up against the wall after only a minute and a half here on first. TK on that home wrecker. Gonna be keeping the exit alive, although with the revolver, Pyro's able to get the entrance. Uber now popped out.
Iku's on 90.
Should get the gun.
Yeah, Iku's on 90 because of how fast Ray actually built that. But now Uber are going to come out of the defense that they have it. Going to look to run forward to clean up some players. And there is the cleanup. Blizzard getting Ray, Cham, Arbiter going down as well. And this is a tall defense for DZCreatures here. Going to take down everyone here on the side. Dinko will get backstabbed. Snowy traded by the same weapon. In the meantime, Teleporter not up yet, but they do have a Demoman back and heals. So DZCreatures going to keep this hold going. Already 2.5 minutes off the clock.
I mean, I think upwards looking like it's like a 2:30 in raw cap time. Maybe now 2:10 with what they've gotten already. Things are dire for LIS. They need to basically dry push this. You're gonna wipe Pyro on this carry Brocky. The best opening fight you can get for they're all grouped up, so good damage coming in from Cham. Cham's gonna go down, but gets damaged. Dingo and Eku both going down. Lizard and DC gonna be next. This is what they need. Pyro goes down. JPEG on the 6th streak, but the cap comes through. The level 2 gonna pick off Charms, which really hurts the snowball. They're gonna need ×3 for the rest of the clock.
Yeah, it's a shame Ray got taken down there because otherwise they would have had a pretty sizable Uber advantage. They will still have one because Eco has a very long spawn timer. Watch out for Wazari on this hill, but he gets spotted by Arbiter, and that's a huge pick to make. Sweety's going to walk up and take that space. They really do need this cart rolling through most of the time. 3x. They have 3x on it right now. Snowy's job is going to be staying there. Dingo, look at him, gets Ray off the spawn. If there's a way to shut down momentum, it's going to be that. They're going to give them second for free here. DZCreatures does not need to contest this. They're just going to sit on third with their Uber advantage now.
Yep. Very happy to. I mean, 2.5 minutes, you get one Uber onto cart, and it's basically over. There's so much distance between second and third. You're going to be looking at 1.5 minutes, really, before the cart even gets to a solid point to cap. This might be the biggest collapse of all time if they were to somehow lose this.
Yeah, if that's not a cast to curse angle, I don't know what is, but I think they're looking pretty good, especially now getting that kill onto Lucky again. So no pressure coming in onto them. They're going to be able to get all their buffs, all their players in position. We got Dinko with a banner in bucket, healed up to 250. So going to be hard for Lucky Storm to take the space, especially when Ray's only on 20%. If you are DZCreatures here, I want to see a decisive Uber to win the game. I think you can do it like right now. The second you see that medic walk up here, just Uber into them. Like literally, just Uber into them right now. Yes, do it. Thank you. Ray's dead. The game is over. That's great. I love DZCreatures. Shout out to this team.
I get what you mean. Like, from a fundamentals perspective, it feels like they've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you know, there's a reason why we didn't have them kind of pegged as a top 4 team off the start of the season, just off the roster alone. But this is a team that, like, I am very excited to see play against teams that are quote-unquote better than them. This type of, like, very strong fundamental TF2 is a hallmark of the teams that you say, wait, that team upset everyone into playoffs and then came third, right? Like, I don't want to put too much hype on them as a, you know, to not put a season-long caster's curse, but as we enter garbage time here with only 40 seconds left, this is a team that I'm very excited to watch for the rest of the season.
Yeah, a very well-earned 2-0, just some garbage time frags coming through, seeing if they can pad their stat lines. Dinko gonna get another medic pick for the resume. Gotta shout that one out. That pick onto second was, like, it was the alley-oop into the game winner. Him finding that Uber, or that kill onto the Uber out of medic. So shout to Dinko for that one. But with that, GG's are called in chat. Players are just gonna be sitting in spawn as the last 10 seconds timeout, and that's gonna be DZCreatures taking an opening week 2-0 victory.
Yeah, really, really strong performance. Just great, great. I don't. Is there anyone to highlight in particular? Because I feel like highlighting anyone would take away from the effort that was given as a whole.
Yeah, I think they were solid altogether. Like, obviously, everyone had a pretty good moment at some point. JPEG played a really good game. Dinko had his really good moments on the bombs. Broccoli outperformed the opposition the entire way through. Yeah, I mean, everyone played really good on DZCreatures. Very happy with how they showed up in week 1.
I mean, I think we can probably pull the log up. I'm not with such when it's such a team effort like that. There's not you can't. Sometimes you can look at a stat line and say, "Oh, the game happened because of this," but this is a case where you look at the game and then say any stat lines are going to be kind of derivative from that. I mean, I think Scary Broccoli played very well, right? I think you saw Dinko come in with solid bombs. Lizard was where he needed to be. I like between DZ on NG from what we saw from him occasionally and Lucky last season. I like that we're starting to see some NGs that break out of the like die equal times to your med and know when to hit the gas and get in there. Not that I don't think DZ was as aggro as the Charms NG last season was, but you know, he picks his moments. Whereas I don't mean to be dismissive, but it really felt like LAS was a pug scrim team.
Yeah, and you know, we've said it already, I'll say it again. It's week 1, teams that just came together and, you know, have had a couple weeks of scrim practice at most. It's gonna look a bit rougher compared to teams that have more practice or that were to have a core that's tenured a bit longer. especially when you have off classes like LIS do. So, like, yes, we can say it was not a good week 1 performance out of them, but the only place you can go is really up, and a team that just came together and looks like less than the sum of their parts at this point has like a lot of upward trajectory to potentially go. That said, whether or not they do is to be seen. So we might catch them later on in the season in some more mid-table matchups, especially if they close in on the bubble spot. But for now, I'd say they're like a work in progress team, very much so.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a team too that, you know, even if I don't see them beating some of the top teams necessarily, like a Witness Gaming or a Dumb Kid, could very easily see them snagging a half on a stopwatch. With, you know, if you start getting a couple upsets around the middle of the table, things get a little bit more open, and suddenly those match points mean a lot if you've got a bunch of teams grouping at 3 or 4 wins. So who knows? We've got a full season ahead of us, and a lot to learn. I think this is. I'm cautiously optimistic for this season because Zach, I'm not sure how much you were tuned into. There's a lot of preseason drama around who was going to play an invite, but I think we're at a spot where I think there should be a fairly healthy mid-invite here, and I think you're going to be looking at a similar dynamic to last season where you may not have a runaway top team like we've had in some seasons, and you've got a 1-2 that can really kind of contest each other.
That would excite me if it were to be the case, because last season was definitely very good on that front. So, I mean, we'll see if Witness Gaming and Dumb Kids can live up to the hype of last season's top 2.
But for now, I think that's going to do it from us. So, Zach, any last thoughts on the opener of Season 23?
DZCreatures for Worlds.
All right. Couldn't have said it better myself. And with that, we will call it here. Thank you all for watching. We will see you next week on the first of many casts to come throughout Season 23. Thank you. Have a good night.